All right, let's dive right into this explainer, because today we are going to shatter a massive wealth illusion. Get this. According to recent data tracking consumer habits, nearly half of Americans earning over $100,000 a year report living paycheck to paycheck. Half! That is a staggering statistic, right? It means millions of high earners are quietly walking around, functionally broke, despite bringing home really great salaries. Today, we're going to unpack the hidden money traps that completely drain that income. We'll be using insights straight from the Federal Reserve, the CFPB, and the SEC to reveal the specific formula that quiet millionaires use to build lasting financial freedom. And we'll look at why the traditional markers of success might actually be the very things holding you back.
To start things off, let's play a quick little thought experiment. I'm going to describe two different people to you, and I want you to tell me who you think is actually richer. Let's see if your instincts match the actual financial math. Okay, so here's person A. They earn a fantastic $120,000 a year. They wear designer clothes, they dine out at all the exclusive restaurants, and they drive a brand new luxury SUV. But underneath that shiny surface, if they miss just 2 paychecks, their entire financial life would completely collapse. Why? Because they have exactly $0 in savings. Now, let's look at person B. They earn just $70,000 a year. They drive a reliable, 10-year-old sedan and live in a pretty modest home. But they have $500,000 sitting quietly in a brokerage account. Clearly, person B is significantly richer. And this proves the absolute golden rule of personal finance. Wealth isn't about what you make, it is entirely about what you keep. The size of your salary honestly does not determine the size of your wealth if your expenses just rise right alongside it. Chapter 1. The High Salary Illusion. Look, we've all been heavily conditioned by society, and especially social media, to define wealth by highly visible markers. We see the massive houses, the global travel, the luxury cars, and we automatically assume, wow, those people are wealthy. But financial institutions like the Federal Reserve and the SEC teach us something totally different. True financial wealth comes down to a very specific, invisible mathematical formula known as net worth. Your paycheck, that's merely cash flow. It's just the raw material coming in every month. Your actual wealth is your net worth, which is strictly defined as the mathematical difference between what you own, your assets, and what you owe, your liabilities. The SEC defines an asset as something that puts money in your pocket or holds intrinsic value, like investments or cash. A liability takes money out of your pocket, like a personal loan or credit card debt. So you can have a massive cash flow, but if your liabilities wipe it all out, your net worth is basically zero. Let's really put this into perspective. Consider the quote-unquote rich doctor. They are pulling in $400,000 a year, and they look incredibly successful to everyone in their neighborhood. But behind closed doors, they are carrying $700,000 in debt between medical school student loans, a massive jumbo mortgage, and multiple luxury car payments. Their net worth is actually negative. They are what financial researchers call a wisher, living high, but financially incredibly fragile. Now compare that to the wealthy investor making just $80,000 a year. By strictly budgeting to save and consistently acquiring assets over time, they've quietly built a $2 million fortune. This investor is a doer. They've secured real, lasting wealth without feeling that exhausting psychological pressure to constantly project an image of success. Chapter 2. The Lifestyle Inflation Trap.
Meet Gabby. She perfectly represents this trap, which honestly is perhaps the biggest reason high earners struggle to build real wealth. Gabby has a great job and a fantastic salary that grows every single year. But her bank statement shows zero savings, no property, and absolutely no retirement plan. Why? Well, it happens because of a silent killer called lifestyle inflation. Whenever Gabby gets a pay raise or a year-end bonus, she doesn't use that extra money to build a financial foundation. Instead, she immediately upgrades her lifestyle. She moves into a slightly nicer apartment, takes more luxurious vacations, and buys more expensive clothes just to maintain a certain image. It's literally a psychological treadmill. Because she acts as a wisher who doesn't track where her extra money goes, her net worth remains totally stagnant. She isn't actually getting wealthier with every promotion, she is simply consuming more of her earnings, trapping herself in a vicious cycle where she has to keep working just to maintain her baseline.
So if merely spending your whole paycheck on a higher standard of living keeps your net worth completely stagnant, what is the trap that actively destroys the wealth you've already tried to build? What is the predator that takes you from just being broke to actually pulling you deep into the negative?
Chapter 3. Consumer Debt Destroys Wealth.
The answer is consumer debt. It's a psychological trap rooted deeply in immediate gratification. People want things they haven't saved for yet, so they turn to credit cards. Let's break down how this actually works in the real world with a tale of two spenders. Sonia is a doer. She wants a new TV, so she budgets carefully, saves $1,500 in cash over a few months, buys the TV, and bam, she is entirely done with the transaction. Vince, on the other hand, wants immediate gratification. He hasn't saved a dime, but he wants the TV today. So he finances the exact same $1,500 TV on a store credit card. And according to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or CFPB, average interest rates on store credit cards can easily hover around a punishing 22 to 24%. Vince is walking directly into a massive financial snare.
Let's say it takes Vince 4 years making minimum payments to finally pay off that high-interest credit card. Because of that punishing interest rate we just talked about, Vince's original $1,500 TV actually ended up costing him $2,200. That extra $700, that is mathematically known as compound interest you pay. It is money going straight from his paycheck directly to his creditors. It can't be saved, it can't be invested, it is just permanently gone, quietly draining his wealth. And to make matters worse, that TV drops in value the second he takes it out of the box. It's a depreciating possession. It loses its worth over time, unlike a wealth-creating asset. When you finance depreciating possessions, you are essentially paying a premium to become poor.
Chapter 4. What the Wealthy Buy.
Which brings us to a major realization. If luxury cars, high-end clothes, and expensive electronics are just depreciating possessions that drain your wealth, what are the wealthy actually buying with their money? How are they turning their raw cash flow into a high net worth? Simple. Wealth builders prioritize acquiring wealth-creating assets. They buy things that are specifically designed to produce future income or benefit. Instead of betting everything on a single company, they buy index and mutual funds. The SEC highlights that these funds offer immediate diversification, spreading risk across hundreds of top-performing companies. They also max out retirement accounts like 401ks and IRAs. Following IRS guidelines, these accounts offer massive tax advantages, like tax-deferred growth, meaning the money compounds much more efficiently over time without being dragged down by annual capital gains taxes. They buy real estate to build home equity rather than just paying rent to a landlord. They buy dividend stocks to become part owners in profitable companies that actually pay them a slice of the profits. And they invest in businesses, leveraging their own unique talents. The wealthy deliberately use their income to buy assets, which then go to work to produce even more income.
Chapter 5. The math of compound interest.
Once you start acquiring those assets, the absolute most powerful tool in your wealth-building arsenal takes over. This tool is the great equalizer, and it relies heavily on the mathematics of time. That mechanism is compound interest. The SEC's investor education resources define compound interest as the process of earning interest on your original principal investment plus the interest you have already earned along the way. Think of it like a snowball rolling down a massive hill, gathering more snow and getting larger and faster the further it goes. With simple interest, you only earn money on your initial deposit. But with compound interest, your money is working for you, and then the money your money made starts working for you too. You're essentially putting your dollars to work as tiny little employees, making even more money without you having to lift a physical finger. To give you an idea, a simple $1,000 investment at a historical 5% return grows to over $2,600 in 20 years, literally just by sitting there and compounding.
Time is quite literally everything when it comes to compounding. Consider an investor who gets on automatic pilot and invests just $500 a month starting at age 25. Assuming a standard historical market return, that portfolio can grow to an astonishing $2.6 million by the time they reach age 65. But consider another investor who decides to, wait it out a bit. If they delay starting until age 35, investing that exact same $500 a month, they end up with a drastically lower nest egg. That 10-year delay is often referred to in financial circles as the lost decade. And why is it so devastating? Because they lost the most productive compounding years at the very end of the cycle. The money simply didn't have enough time to multiply itself. The crucial takeaway here is that every single day you wait to invest is a day of lost compound growth.
Chapter 6. The Wealth-Building Formula. So how do we actually transition from being a wisher, trapped by lifestyle inflation and financial illiteracy, to being a doer, who escapes the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle forever? Well, you can use this exact 6-step blueprint. It all starts with Step 1, your income. This is just your raw cash flow, the fuel for the engine. Step 2 is to spend less. You must track your expenses, actively resist lifestyle inflation, and cut those premium subscriptions you don't even use. That naturally frees up capital for Step 3, save more. Here, you budget to create an emergency fund. Agencies like the FDIC and CFPB strongly recommend saving enough to cover 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses, just so a medical bill or job loss doesn't make you financially fragile.
Step 4 is where you really shift gears. Invest consistently. Take your excess savings and buy those wealth-creating assets we talked about: index funds, real estate, retirement accounts. Step 5 is compound growth. Just leave the money alone. Let time and the market multiply your returns. And finally, Step 6, financial freedom. This ultimate milestone is reached when your assets, rather than your physical labor, produce enough future income to meet all your life goals.
Because the truth is, becoming wealthy rarely happens overnight. It's the result of thousands of ordinary financial decisions repeated over decades. Ultimately, the biggest difference between people who stay broke and people who build lasting wealth isn't luck, and it isn't even the size of their salary. It's the choice to put action behind your goals. Your net worth, not your paycheck, is your true wealth. So the next time your paycheck hits your account, I want you to ask yourself, are you going to buy another depreciating illusion, or are you finally going to buy your freedom?